Okay, thank you. And thanks everyone for joining. Noga, thank you.
Hi, Andy.
So this is not a presentation, it's more like a chat. And let's start with a short intro.
Yeah, thank everyone that joined the session and didn't go to any of the happy hours. We don't take it for granted.
Yet.
So, Andy, please start.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Andy Kushner. I'm the Director of Organic Growth at SciPlay. SciPlay, I guess everybody knows here SciPlay, but for the one person over there that doesn't know, SciPlay is a mobile app developer. Okay. We develop social casino and casual games. My team oversees all of the portfolio of the best social casino games, mainly in the US. I've met Noga about 10 years ago or something like that. We started, I started in gaming about 10 years ago at Crazy Labs. After that, I moved to 888, and today I'm happy to be at SciPlay. Noga.
It's a great place to be, Andy.
It's the best place to be.
I'm Noga. I'm the VP Marketing of Playstudios. I've met Andy over 10 years ago, which says that both of us are really old, and when we used to be younger. I worked in an agency that I started my path in marketing when I worked in an agency that was acquired by Innovid. Later, I joined Crazy Labs. And in the last 8 years, I've been at Playstudios. And now I'm overseeing the performance marketing team, the creative marketing team, the data teams of the marketing, ad monetization, cross-promo, and recently CRM and community management. So much fun.
So basically everything.
Everything that around like user retention and user and like growth. And Playstudios has a portfolio of social casino games and another new and exciting portfolio of casual games like Tetris. And we recently acquired Brainium.
Great. So basically, this is going to be an open chat. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout them out. Okay,
so this is me asking Andy questions. So Andy, it's a session about organics. So let's start with the basic. What is ASO?
Okay, so like in one or two sentences, the main goal of ASO, App Store Optimization, is to be #1 on the App Store for any search query that your users are looking for. How we do it, I have a great team that does it. We work on two main pillars. One is keyword optimization, which the main goal there is to be as most relevant as you can with keywords for your app or game. And the second pillar is conversion rate optimization, that once that you get to these very high rankings, you want clicks and installs, and to show both Google and Apple that you're relevant for those keywords, and that way you'll stay on the top list.
Yeah, it seems like this is the goal. And like, is there any interaction between you and the UA teams?
Yeah, so between the organic and the UA, it's very critical to have a very strong synergy. You can see it very strongly on Apple with the Apple search ads, which combining the both and having both teams work very, very closely can give you very good results. I'll start with a little bit, take it back to the basic, is what does Apple and Google and any search engine, what do they want? Okay, so their main goal is to give their users the best answer for their questions. And how do they do that? Basically is if they see that a user has any query, let's say he's typing slots, and he sees my app, and he will click on it, then, yeah, or if you're in the top, so pop slots, or if you're in the US, so Quicket. So then they will see that you're very relevant for that keyword, and they will push you up because you're giving them a good result. Now, how can you leverage that with Apple Search Ads? So Apple Search Ads, basically you can bid on a very specific keyword. And once Apple will see that you have good conversion for that keyword, both your CPI on the ad will decrease and your organic ranking will increase because you're relevant for that. And how you can do that even better is with custom product pages. So whoever doesn't know custom product pages is your option to emphasize a specific part of your app or game for a specific keyword. So having, if you want long tail keywords or very specific keywords, target them and showing in the screenshots the best image that you can for a good conversion rate. Apple will see that you're starting to convert for that keyword, and with time you're going to be pushed up for that specific query.
Do you have any recommendation, like with how many CPPs should we start? Like, what is the thumb rule?
Okay, so basically the max custom product pages that you can have is 35 today, and it's it takes a lot of resources. So I would say the maximum that you can use it. You don't have anything to lose. You can just gain traffic from that. So use all the resources that you can to have the maximum, and with time change them, optimize them, and see what specific CPPs work best for you.
And what about in-app events? I'm sure you're using in-app events.
Yeah, great question. So yes, in-app events is also something that we use quite often. This is a good example between the connection between the product and the marketing team. And just, I think, last month or so, Apple released the App Transparency Report, which shows that, don't take me for the numbers, but about Apple has about 700 million downloads, average downloads a week, and 1.5 billion re-downloads. So those re-downloads users are very, very valuable. And in the slots area, a lot of users, they download a few games. They don't necessarily remember that they have the game or that they deleted it. And in-app events is a great way to bring them back. And it's free if you don't run any UA on it. And the best part is that when a user comes back to the store and searches for something that you have an event for, okay, if it's slots or anything that you have in the game, instead of seeing only like a small icon and the text of your app, you'll take over half of the screen of the App Store. So that's basically increasing your appearance on the App Store and giving you more traffic that otherwise you would pay for.
So basically, if I'm following, if I'm adding a lot, like how many in-app events can I run on the same time?
If I'm not mistaken, it's 5. Right? Yeah.
So if I'm leveraging 5, I have a higher chance to get like a bigger placement on the search results.
For specific event names, yes, definitely. And you can prioritize which events you want to see on the top and which are more important for you.
Amazing. Do you have any additional tips for any ASO rookies?
Yeah, sure. First, testing is the key. Always test and try to optimize your creatives and your assets. Again, the main thing that both Apple and Google want to see is that you have high conversion rate. And to do that, you need always to improve and get better and better. I would like to ask you a few questions. Yalla. So first of all, at Playstudios, how do you see the connection between UA and organic?
So obviously there is a connection. Like I think that everyone in this room are either selling traffic or buying traffic. So when you're a big advertiser and you're spending a lot, you take into account that there is a decent connection between the amount you're investing in a certain market to the number of organic users you will gain in this market. But it's complicated. This is the short answer, I would say.
And do you guys have any K factor that you measure, or can you measure that?
Yeah, obviously you have to try to measure that. There isn't like a K factor as like a certain percentage that we can share, because it's really unique for each of the apps that you're running UA for. But in order to actually get in the right direction in defining the K factor for your app, you need to start with the fundamentals, like realizing like what is an organic user, what is an organic install, to actually understand that it's not the same number, because for the games themselves, they are usually counting like new users when they are creating an account on the app, or they have like their own identifier of the game themselves. For the marketing team, if we are pulling data from the MMP, we are counting devices. And then there is a different number between installs and users. So in order to actually get to the holy grail of the number that is like the K factor for a specific app, you need like to start in the beginning. You need to understand how many actual organic users you're getting for this game. So after you have like an estimation, because you realize how many users are actually new or how many devices are new, you need to take another things into account, like how much you're actually spending on iOS, how much you're spending on SCAD. You need to clean up your iOS installs from users that just didn't give you consent, because they are not organic users. They are just users that you can't attribute to the paid activity. So after you did these two steps, you are in the right direction in finding the correlation. So you need to take a lot of factors into account, like where you're buying, in which geos, what is your media mix. Are you buying on iOS or Android? And if you will run a decent analysis, I would say, you would be able to build a model that give you a decent estimation of what is your K factor for the app. But you need to change it. Like, it's not something that you can say, okay, forever, this is the percent that I can attribute from organic users to paid. Sometimes there isn't like a correlation between like the number of installs, because if you're buying on instant traffic, it can really change a lot of dynamics in the organics. So it's something that you need to invest a lot of efforts. There isn't like a short answer or like a number I can give, but it's important to keep working on that.
So I'll do it a little bit more difficult if this wasn't difficult enough. There are a few developers here, like new developers. How would you, when you do your UA plans and your go-to-market plans, how would you define or estimate how many organic installs are you going to get from those games over time, if it's with IP or without IP, or what would be the organic curve?
Again, it depends. So basically, everyone wants like to see like ton of organic traffic. Like, I think in each company I joined, the CEO goal was like, okay, how can we get organics? Let's get organics. And it's hard, because basically organics are users that organic is like the fallback of attribution. It means that we don't know the source of the user. This is what it really means. It means that the install is not connected to any tracking link. Sometimes there is like an actual organics that are coming because you have a brand. Like for us, for example, we have Tetris. Tetris is, I think, one of the biggest IPs in gaming for years. And I think it's not a secret, but we have like tons of organics just because people are searching for Tetris. So it's really depending what is the game you are trying to launch and grow. If it's a new game that has zero recognition and like it doesn't tie to any imported keyword, SO-wise actually, you'll probably in the first couple of months need to attribute most of the organic users that are, as I said earlier, probably like misattribution to the paid traffic. Later on, after you will gain momentum, you need to take into account all the complicated methods that I mentioned before in order to estimate, okay, this is the percent I need to attribute to organics from the paid traffic.
Would you give more budget for the UA campaign, even that you don't see the direct ROI, because you assume that part of it is that, yeah?
In the beginning, yeah, for sure, definitely, because when we are doing soft launch, usually we use we use Facebook, for example, and if we use Facebook on iOS, wow, it's a problem to actually track you will get a lot of non-attributed installs, and then you need to attribute them back to the...
I thought you have a solution for that.
Yeah, this is why we are attributing most of them. But basically, yes, in the beginning, we take a lot of the organics and take it into account as part of the paid activity when we are launching new games.
Okay, thanks. Any questions that you guys would like to ask us, or if you would like us to elaborate on anything?
I mean, would you say that any share of organic of your traffic is acceptable, or at some point would you kind of worry that it impacts your game and you have less control and that you less control where they come from and how much they contribute?
So it's basically, it really depends why you are trying to evaluate the organics, and it really depends on the game themselves. I don't think there is if you have too many organics, it's amazing. If there are actual organics and you qualify that it's not a source that is misattributed, maybe you have an amazing brand, and then wow, your organic to paid ratio is amazing. Another thing is to consider how much you're actually spending. If you're spending a lot and you're buying cheap users, for example, cheap CPIs, not cheap users, sorry. So you're basically and you have lower numbers of organics, then your organic ratio would be low compared to how much you're actually buying. So you need to really understand where you're investing and what is the user flow on the networks you're buying in order to understand if there are any attribution issues that could cause a leakage for organic. I can share that for Playstudios, we have a really we have two big networks, one of the casino games and one for the casual games. And when we are doing cross-promotion, when we are trying to cross-promote user for one app to another app, we have a leakage to the organics because there are some attribution issues. So later on, we know that we need to move them back to cross-promotion. So you really need to do reverse engineering to your the last couple of days if you want to understand, okay, why do I have a huge organic spike?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
You asked. That's a question to Andy. Andy, did you find yourself in a situation in which you were not happy with the keyword ranking that you saw, and then which action did you took in order to change it?
You mean that I was happy?
You weren't happy, and then which action did you take in order to kind of boost it to the place that you wanted to be?
Yes. So, and I'll give a general answer about Bagamon, if you're familiar with. So,
no.
We were not ranked high for keyword Bagamon, and we have a great Bagamon game.
Second in the world, yes.
The best one. And so what I believe in and everything that I do is always try to find new ways on how to leverage anything that either Apple or Google do. So when the in-app events came out, one thing that we noticed, which today is not so true, is that the title of the in-app event would be an autocomplete on the App Store. So we took this and leveraged it and did maximum in-app events for our Vagamon game, which resulted in once a user is starting to search for Vagamon, which is a quite hard word to spell or write, the autocompletes most of them were our app, and that's the way we increased our rankings.
Great answer.
Thank you.
So, let's give them a standing ovation. Everybody rise and stand. Good. Stand up because we're going to the bar now.
Thank you.
Thanks for a great day.